to the flag. There's the signal. Here come the revs. They're revving to about 9,500, and we go racing off the line as the flag falls at Goodwood, and we are racing for the first time today down to Matchman Corner as they all leave the line in various different conditions, and it's our pole sitter Horatio Fitzsimon who converts pole into holding the lead into turn one, as there's a wide moment there in the background. Now it was the lead coming out of Matchman Corner, might be about to change as they head down to Fordwater.
Yeah, different lines there, and certainly Sam Wilson in second place was taking a look at the second part of Madwick, but it's all about going through Fordwater to them. It's not a corner, it's a kick. Now they get St Mary's. Sam Wilson taking a look up the inside, but that will put him on the outside for the second part of the story. And let's see how that unfolds in front of Chris Goodwin in third place. But our pole starter Horatio Fitzsimon has done the hard work, but that was about the most equal start I've seen. The first shot, Alex, as the cars left the grid, there was no advantage to any of them, but by the time they got to the first corner, by dint of being on the inside line, Horatio Fitzsimon held onto the lead.
Oh, off in the background, big moment there to drop to the rear of the field. The 87 is heading down the order. We go back to the battle for the lead then. Horatio Fitzsimon's checking the left mirror and the right mirror. That's a great run as we go down the Levant Straight. And is that a change? No, they're still running close together. This is very, very close. And Horatio Fitzsimon stays ahead. Great battling. Not what we wanted to see.
Well, that's Peter Lair off in one of the works Brabhams. That's that Frank Gardner car, but all eyes on the front. It's as close can be. Slightly wide coming out of the chicane. Horatio Fitzsimon, so he shouldn't be quite so early on the power. This could be a chance for Sam Wilson in second place to put his tiny little car behind the other tiny little car. These two notices getting whatever aerodynamic advantage you can get. Chris Goodwin has just lost one position, or possibly two.
And it was a good start off the line for Alex Brundle, who made a couple of places. He's gone from 6th on the grid up to 4th. We'll keep you in touch with these progress, which might get even better because he's trying to turn 4th into these, going over the line in 4th, and they're battling side by side. Brundle on the inside in the green Lotus there, and he takes the place. Problem there.
No problem. I was just wondering, Chris Goodwin was dropping back at the end of the first lap. In fact, our grids went slightly, our timing screen went slightly berserk. We lost Sam Wilson. I can tell you he's still very much in the mix, but Alex Brundle going through. But what is the problem for Goodwin? It was at first, it was a bit like a missed gear change. He put his hand up, but there we have, unfortunately, 72 Peter Lair's car. One of two that went off at St Mary's on the opening lap. He ended up on the infield. The other car, I think it was 87. I think it was Stefan Ray, went on to the outside to check on the state of the crops before rejoining the circuit.
Yeah, still operating out there. That's Horatio Fitzsimon who is out there. Safety car is out on the circuit, and we've got the BT2 parked up, and they want to recover it from the inside there. So safety car on the circuit, race neutralised.
So let's just run down the order. Horatio Fitzsimon and Sam Wilson, they've been duking it out since the very start, separated by a quarter of a second after the first flying lap. Then the safety car is out, the drivers are out, which is at least good to see. Clive Richards made a good start to move ahead of Chris Goodwin up into third place. That's 194 ahead of 175. Alex Brundle's gained one position from 6th to 5th. And then behind Andrew Hibbert, who's always a charger in these races, is the driver who's overtaken. So there's the crumpled nose. Very sad to see that on the little Brabham Ford BT2 out at St Mary's, and the end signature is in the background of the tyre mark. So let's take a look how it happened. We're about to have 87 going backwards across the grass, not one of the approved lines, but plenty of safe space out there for Stefan Ray.
So Stefan Ray rejoins, and then we're going to zoom out again, and I believe we're going to see a car heading to the barrier.
Yeah, I think it's he's had the moment. Now, did it just pull off? No, because the front end of the car is crumpled, but did he perhaps hit the back of Stefan Ray to propel him off the circuit at, well, you can see a moment there for Chris Goodwin getting his left-hand wheels out onto the dirt on the exit of Lavance. That will have focused his mind a little bit.
That was the move for 4th as Alex Brundle moved up a position. And our timing screen has righted itself, so we're all behind the safety car once again. 21 minutes on the clock.
So I feared there was a mechanical problem for Chris Goodwin. He saw his hand coming out of the car, but I think he was acknowledging the drivers around him. So what he did was that classic thing. He got those wheels just off the circuit, lost momentum for a nanosecond. That's why he lost one place, and Alex Brundle would have just sensed it's small margins, tiny margins, but then I get more momentum, I'm coming past, and bonus ball, I'm on the inside.
Looking at the 27 in the pack there. That's Chris Locke in the Lotus 27. All adds up.
It's the detail. It's all in the detail. That was a car imported to the States by none other than Carl Haas, who obviously has had a huge influence from the 60s onwards. But again, these cars gathered from all around the world, and it was a global formula at the time. And in fact, that car was then, Americans had their own formula system, A, B and C. That became a Formula C car thereafter stateside. But these cars just look exquisite. Can't wait for everything to be cleared up. It shouldn't take too long to remove Peter Layer's Brabham, hopefully put on a flatbed and pulled away probably just to the other side of the track, and there's a sort of dummy control tower and they can park it up over there. But the crews, we saw them yesterday, Alex, so efficient. Even when the tyre wall was given a battering, they came with replacement stacks and were really very quick at getting it going again.
Yes, outstanding. We thank every single marshal around the circuit for allowing us to go racing. And so it is Fitzsimon, Wilson, Richards and Brundle. Then Goodwin in 5th, Hibbert, Fennell, Woodhouse, Glover and Roach complete our top 10 as we circulate behind the safety car. Won't be long before we sort things out. Horatio Fitzsimon's coming under quite a lot of pressure on that opening lap, but dealing with it really nicely, and he had propelled the challenge by the time the safety car came out.
You know, one of the great advantages with historic Formula Junior being so super strong, a lot of these drivers have raced these cars for a number of years against their regular rivals, so you learn to trust people, or perhaps not trust them, but the driving standards here are always, you know, it's reinforced. This is a very fast circuit, it's a historic circuit. There are consequences if you go off, and you can see the respect and the little bit of space you don't always get in contemporary motor racing that they allow each other. Maybe it comes from owning your own car. Does make a difference.
It's always handy, isn't it? So if you are just pressing play, or you're just wandering into the track and you've got a vantage point for the first time today, brilliant to have your company at the 25th anniversary celebration of the Goodwood Revival, and what an event it has blossomed into. Better year after year after year, and this has been a special experience this weekend. We've been paying tribute. Great scenes yesterday when we saw Jackie Stewart driving his Tyrrell from 1973 around the circuit. We've got a tribute to Lotus coming on later on, and we've got plenty of races all the way throughout the day. Remember as well, there is plenty to see over the road as well as the site of the motor racing circuit.
And these Formula Junior cars looked almost identical to the Formula 1 cars of the age. And a lot of drivers, they made a very quick hop from one to the other, moved up. Now there's Marco Werner, driver who was very quick in single-seaters, German racer. He's doing an increasing amount of historic racing, but I think Formula Junior is fairly new on his lexicon. He's certainly been racing a fabulous historic Ferrari Formula 1 car from the mid-70s over the last few years. Very cerebral driver. He's been loving this, but when drivers come to Goodwood for the first time, they're just blown away about the circuit, because it wasn't one they went racing on if they're under the age of about 60. Well, no, 70 now. But they come here and they realise it's just a circuit that's real flow. You think it's flat, it's not. You see the drops as you go out of Ford Water, then as you go over the rise at St Mary, down into dip afterwards, and it does certain things to cars' dynamics. And particularly if you've got it slightly wrong, you're trying to correct the track, it's dropping away from beneath you. We're not talking like the Algarve circuit where you really are up and down, but it's a track that rewards flow, and it also, you've got to plan your overtaking manoeuvre with some margin. Just hearing that 3 minutes are going to be added to this race, extra lap time, so it'll take the race time out to 28 minutes and gives them a chance for more racing. And if it's as good as it was in the opening lap before the safety car came out between our pole starter Horatio Fitzsimon and Sam Wilson, we'll vote for that.
We certainly will, and that's the right move. They did that yesterday. Good to see that that car is now being recovered. The bodywork damage at the front. When you see these cars, and if you can get a view down in the paddock, I urge you to do so, because when you see the bodywork off the cars, you really do see the bravery and the devil-may-care attitude that drivers had to have in this era originally, because if you go off, it's going to be a very big one.
Yeah, but just remember, of course, every driver driving in period, they've got the very latest racing cars, so they're thinking, gosh, thank goodness we didn't race in the 50s, but here we are in the 60s, and of course you then had many manufacturers, and particularly with Lotus, there they are filling 9 of the top 10 positions. Those cars were, you know, they were very soon going to go to monocoque, etc. These were still space frame cars, but you know, there was just so much similarity, and these drivers were thinking they were driving the space age rockets of the period, and the racing was always sensational in Formula Junior.
Yeah, fuel tanks at the side as well, and so the drivers ready in a few moments time to get back to racing, because the safety car will be coming in at the end of the lap, and we will go back to what will be a really interesting restart. Can Wilson stay with Fitzsimon? Because there was a good battle early on, just wasn't able
to be the last of the late breakers, and another chance presents itself. And if you can get your rival off the racing line, if you can get them flustered, you've got cars in close proximity. You'll have Goodwin trying to come back against Brundle as well, having lost that position.
Right, just getting some gen. Thank you very much, Andrew Marriott. Werner has actually had this Formula Junior car for quite a while, raced it quite a few times, but he's never won a Formula Junior race and actually doesn't fancy his chances here. He thinks his engine is down or past, so he's still a racing driver. He's still getting those stories.
I've heard that from plenty in the field.
Thank you, Andrew.
Plenty are giving that excuse. Okay, safety car is no longer in front of Horatio Fitzsimon, who dictates the pace and has just the chicane to go before we go back, and the yellow flag will be replaced by the green, and he's bolted. Away we go once again. We are racing at Goodwood Circuit, and over the line we go, and we are taken back to green flag racing conditions. At least we were. The safety car, I don't believe it, the safety car has broken down.
Yes, I was wondering then why he was flagging through, because traditionally the lights would go out on the roof, which they did. I could see the passenger radioing into the pits. That's at the side of the circuit. Let's hope it's considered to be in a safe place. So further down the order, some great scrapping there.
With Binnington in the Cooper, who was putting a good move to the inside. Not the only one, that's a risky one for the number 69 in the middle of the pack.
Well, that's Stuart Roach trying to do something about all the Lotuses in front. His intent place was quite fancying Knight, but noticed there was only half a car width and didn't want to get himself on the grass.
Right, here's a question for you, Bruce. You've seen a lot of motor racing. What happens when the safety car breaks down?
I'm looking to that's the first time I have ever seen that at any form of motor racing. But I'm sure there is a rule that I feel most awful that I haven't read up on. But right now we're getting a classic scrap between Chris Goodwin, who got ahead of number 4, Andrew Hibbert. Again, the hand out of the cockpit. Is Chris just overcome with politeness today, or is he trying to indicate there is a problem? Chris, a very, very wise driver there, still pressing on, trying to understand what he's letting the drivers know behind him.
He's just trying to get as much screen time as possible. It's working.
He's like that.
But Chris, this is close for the battle of the lead, and that's not quite the exit that Horatio Fitzsimons would have been looking for, using more of the road, sliding more of the car, and the terrific roar as we cut over the line once again. We're continuing. He's got a chance to the inside of Madrid corner, looking for it, trying to take the place, but Wilson can't find a way through.
And the big problem when you go to the inside line, that is not the ideal line, and the fact they're so identical in terms of pace means you weren't getting. But I think at the moment Sam Wilson is just trying to unseat in the nicest way possible Horatio Fitzsimon, draw his attention away, make him drift wide on the second apex of Madwick, but all along behind them, Clive Richards, 194, getting closer and closer. Yet another Lotus, it's a 22, and he knows his car very, very well indeed. Then you've got the fabulous battle between Brundle sort of on his own, then Goodwin and Hibbert, there they are, 175 and number 4, 2 Lotuses, into the compression out of St Mary's, up the rise to Lavin. Is anyone going to look on the inside? No, Hibbert's looking on the outside, but Goodwin's not going to offer him the outside.
Don't leave the nose in there, and he knew it. Oh, spinning round and facing the wrong way. It's St Mary's.
It's Brabham, and it's not going anywhere very fast at all at the second, but off the exit of the corner, it's car number 99.
I think it's Mark Shaw.
Mark Shaw. Now, well, and someone else has followed him off, but some while later, Mark was already rejoining. So let's take a look at the replay in St Mary's. If you get it wrong in the first part, here's a carbon copy. Oh, my word. Now, so Mark Shaw went off in avoidance. So that's but I did say in this, often you lose momentum when someone else has a moment. That's more than momentum.
That was Buhofer losing it and spinning out, I believe.
That was around 10th place, yes. So, still at the front. And still at the front is Horatio Fitzsimon. And Sam Wilson this time a little bit further back. It's 0.3 of a second now. And I actually sense... I think Clive Richards may be able to catch this too, but in fact with Wilson slightly becoming detached from race leader Horatio Fitzsimon, maybe that's less likely. He needs Wilson to be up there making those little feints up the inside into Madrid. But right now it's stringing out just a little bit at the front, but then a good lap from Sam Wilson, get back, get that minimal toe, but every bit counts. He could get back onto the tail of the leader. Look, he's almost there now.
Yeah, Horatio Fitzsimon has a good advantage, but not a comfortable advantage. This engrossing battle for what is 5th place out there. Chris Goodwood in the 175. Hibbert in the number 4 entry, and he's been there for a long time now. Andrew Hibbert in the Lotus Ford 22. This looks like a good exit And the thing is, because they are so light, because they are so fast, you don't really have the closing speed under braking that you might have some of the other cars that we have here. And so the remove suddenly everywhere. Is that around the outside? That is magnificent. What a super move.
That is not one, that's 2 pats on the back for Andrew Hibbard, but it does need the driver inside to be sensible as well. And okay, we've got overtaking. Let's see if we're going to change for the lead. Closer than ever before, literally wagging the tail of the dog in front is Sam Wilson, but Horatio Fitzsimon, his car placement is absolutely excellent. He's not afraid to stay on the racing line, which is the quickest line, but can leave you exposed for a dive up the inside, but they're playing very nicely so far.
Yeah, didn't have the waft to the inside, tucked in, knowing that that line hasn't worked for him. That was the fastest lap of the race by Sam Wilson, trying to take his Lotus 20/22 is what we've got officially on our page, and that was a look into St Mary's.
Well, I'm afraid my little cod theory that Clive Richards might be catching them has been thrown out the window. With the first two, Fitzsimon and Wilson just pulling away a little bit, but I thought as they fought he might catch up. But in terms of natural pace, those two cars from first and second on the grid clearly have it. But the big question is who's going to finish ahead. We're halfway through this race, just over halfway through. Horatio Fitzsimon still leading in the number 68 Lotus, but another challenge in the Acuri Tomahawk car. That's the black one with the orange stripe, and Sam Wilson taking a look. But hey, who's clever? Horatio Fitzsimon. If you're going round, you're going round the outside. You're going the long way.
Oh, they are glued together as they come round Woodcote Corner into the chicane. Now this is where Fitzsimon has got wide in recent laps, and you can see he's fighting it once again.
And the last thing you want to do is get sideways, but he leaves the corner as fast as he can. I think that was the mistake that will give the slingshot, and there it comes. But can Sam Wilson convert it? He is on the outside. He's carrying more speed into Madrick. It's a two-part corner. He's got to hang out. No, it's not going to work. I must say, huge admiration for Horatio Fitzsimon. He's very, very convincing that he is on the right line, happy to stay there. Sam Wilson, he has won many, many races at Goodwood. He's having to work super hard to try and another here, and we are the beneficiaries of that. Fabulous racing.
Pulling out of the slipstream, trimming a bit of the grass, but still no momentum. That is a rapid car in terms of grunt for Horatio Fitzsimon. And he is in all sorts of trouble coming out of the final chicane, but he's doing enough by the time that he gets out of Madrick Corner, and it's just enough.
And only 1 point on the lap does he get it loose. That's the exit of the chicane, as you picked up, Alex. But everywhere else, Horatio Fitzsimon, so super smooth, which you have to be. These 1100cc Ford engines, breathed on as they were, do not have a lot of grunt, and it's all about precision. One little mistake can cost you enormously, but right now, well, almost side by straight down the Lavin straight, again on the outside as before. Is it going to be a carbon copy, or can Sam Wilson this time get around? And boy, don't they move over the bumps.
He is trying to sweep in. Oh, they do make contact. I think there was a feather touch there between the leading pair as they went through Woodcote Corner. They are leaving it all on the line at the moment. There's the correction, applying the power. There's more dust kicked off, and that was the closest we've come to contact between Fitzsimon and Wilson.
So I'm going to have to throw away my commentary script. It's being rewritten all the time. 2 places now on the lap where the tail comes out for Horatio Fitzsimon. But look at this move. The tail on the 68 Lotus is about to come swinging round, and a double adjustment of position. Yes, there's you can just see the nose on the 53 Lotus being given a little bit of a push into the air.
Okay, that would have been a heart-stopping moment for Sam Wilson as he gathers it together with his Lotus from 1962. The 22 versus the 22. Then you've got Richards in third, and looking further back in the order. And is that a change of position?
I think we've lost Chris Goodwin. Suddenly has disappeared from that battle for 5th place, because number 4 is Andrew Hibbard, who was right behind him, and Nick Fennell has been playing catch-up. He was unusually far down the grid. He was starting in 7th, and almost the weirdest thing in this race, there is a driver driving on his own for a podium position, because Clive Richards in 3rd place. He's got 2.5 seconds down with that wonderful lead scrap, but he's got another nearly 3 seconds back to Alex Brundle, and that's almost unique in Formula Junior racing history. You always have friends around you on the track.
Oh, we're back to the battle for the lead. I think Hibbard did get past. Oh, there's another car in the way. This is going to complicate things. I think Hibbard did get past Brundle in the battle for 4th place there. Oh, that is... Oh, they're very nearly restricted at the pace there. That is incredibly close between the car trying to go past Strauss, Peter Strauss there, who started at the back, and they were almost at crawling speed behind the lap traffic. And now we go side by side once again with 9 minutes to go on the clock. Into Madrick Corner we go, door shut once again.
If you keep doing the same thing, is the outcome going to change? There's the question. That's because no options are being offered by Horatio Fitzsimon. Sam Wilson, wise bird, he's tried it all, he's done it all, but right now there has not been even a shimmerer of a gap.
So, is this the moment? I think he's most likely at Woodcote corner to get the move, and it's single file through St Mary's unless you're feeling incredibly brave.
And I tell you, the little bit of traffic affected them, and also that little bit of contact had to come off the power a little bit as they were trying to balance the cars through Woodcote. Clive Richards has actually slightly closed to within 2 seconds. But look, the clock is counting down 8 minutes. Oh, a big slide there from Sam Wilson. Can he get back on the tail? He's lost 2-3 car lengths in the blink of an eye.
And that's what it looks like. It was 0.02 of a second across the line last time, but that is... Well, when you're running at this relentless pace, that's the moment that can decide things. He'll regroup. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He's going to try and come back. It's getting very, very close in the background there as the never-ending story between Hibbert and Brundle continues with lap traffic in the way.
No, that's Clive Richards. So he's lost momentum. So this is 3rd, 4th and 5th with a back marker in front of them. So it's Richard, Hibbert's, Brundle, but I can't be sure that will be the order next time we clap eyes on them. But Horatio Fitzsimon leading the race by... 0.56 of a second, very, very tight at the top. Where do you look as a TV director? Which gaggle of cars overtaking each other and running so close do you aim for next? So much to watch in this Formula Junior racing, which makes it exactly as it was in period.
Yeah, brilliant racing out there. So Hibbert now up to 3rd position, Brundle in 4th, Richards in 5th. They must have, Richards losing a lot of time there.
I'm amazed actually that it's only half a second between 1st and 2nd, because when you get it wrong coming out of Lavant, you pay the price of not exiting the corner as fast as you can all the way down to Woodcote. So clearly through Woodcote and through the chicane, Sam Wilson was clean up. Oh, number 17, that's George Tippy, father raced by his late and much missed father Simon. He adores this event, and so George will get going. The famous golden helmet the family have all worn. Great to have him here, but a little bit too much of excitement there, but great to have him coming back on the track. Now the clock continues to kick down. Again, nice driving there to signal exactly what he's doing as he rejoins. Let's take a look at the replay. Just a little bit too much, but again, grass, a bit of rodeo there.
And he spins out, having got wide in the first part of the corner. Here's another look at it as he comes round in the Lotus Ford from 1962. Goes round, but did continue in the race. I'm intrigued how Richards lost all that time, because he did have a good...
He had nearly a 3-second advantage. Between 1st and 2nd, Sam Wilson has got the quicker combination. He is the quicker combination, but Horatio Fitzsimon marginally slower. We're talking the 2 supreme drivers in this field, but he's not offering a chance. Oh no, another rotation.
Another one.
Another 180, that's Nimble. Used to do lots of GT racing until he took up historic racing, and he was obviously pressing on just a little bit too hard, but it's all part of the fun of the fair. So that's down at Woodcote, such a tricky corner.
So making our way through now, the leaders, and this is where you catch the traffic, can be so important.
Well, the gap over the start-finish line was 0.269 of a second. It's gone out. The motor driver indicating to go past on one side and doing it exactly right, but it's cost a 10th of a second or two to the driver in 2nd place, to Sam Wilson. And with every lap, he does have the ability in the final sector, after this, through the Kinker, to get up towards the final corners, and he picks up a bit of time from the race leader, Fitzsimon, every single lap, but he's still behind.
So Fitzsimon, Wilson, then Hibbert, then Brundle, then Richards, the top 5. But here is the battle for the lead. So they've made their way through some of the lap traffic, and the 2 Lotuses putting on a show once again. Wilson be able to contain himself if he's able to get past. He's been working for it for the better part of 28 minutes now.
You know, the thing about this, both of these drivers clearly want to win. The desire could not be more writ large on the screen, but afterwards, regardless if they're 1st or 2nd, they have had a classic scrap, and in the end, that is what drivers come here for. These cars are so suited for this circuit. It's about carrying momentum, and we've seen the consequences if you just lose power a little bit. Oh, the nose really bouncing up and down on Marco Werner's Lotus. That's car number 3, and another little wide line from one of the Tonetti. That's Roberto in the Brabham.
Is this... Oh, it looks like this could be the chance. Oh, he had to get out of it into St Mary's.
What I wanted to see, the car they're about to come up and lap had locked up going into the corner ahead of them, and I think they were both reacting, trying to guess which way it would go. I think that might be the other Tonetti. That might be in the Di Tommaso. Anyhow, we continue. Sam Wilson continues, but he's taken up farming for a hobby.
That's a wide moment. That's the 2nd time in the last 3 laps he's had a moment trying to get on the power there. And as he came out of Lavant, he was very, very, very close to having a bigger moment, but has that decided things out front?
Well, it really could. So race leader Horatio Fitzsimon going through Lavant Corner, and then quite near Lavant Corner was Sam Wilson with his racing line, but of course he lost momentum there. Had to come off. 85 horsepower is all they got to play with, and he's applying that, but unfortunately I think that may have separated them for good. So Horatio Fitzsimon, lap 15 under his belt, 3.5 minutes remain. He's leading the race.
Now will he be able to regroup? I wonder if Wilson will need some poorly placed traffic for Fitzsimon.
1.2 seconds a gap between first and second. It's a good dicing. Mark Shaw on the recovery drive. We saw him at this very corner, St Mary's, having to take evasive action when someone else spun in front of him, and he really, it cost him. But Mark, very, very quick. So look out for the number 99 Brabham BT6. Actually, Denny Holmes' work car from 1963 when the Kiwi came up and proved his credentials that got him into Formula One.
Fitzsimon, then Wilson, separated by more car lengths than they have been for the entirety of the race so far. Then Hibbert, who's made his way nicely through. He got past Brundle, then he got past Richards. Richards has repassed Alex Brundle, who is in 5th place. Then it's Fennell, Woodhouse, Buhofer, who I thought we saw had the spin earlier on, but it can't have been given where he finds himself 8th in the order. And then Child and Russell completing the top 10 with 2.5 minutes to go. Does Wilson have a attack late on and a chance to catch the man who has defended brilliantly all race long? He's been looking in his mirrors.
And I think a driver we need to pick out for making solid progress up the order is Andrew Hibbert, up to 3rd place in car number 4. Ex-Bob Anderson Lotus, Lotus 422. And he's now sort of on his own. He's dropped that battling Clive Richards and Alex Brundle combination, and more spinners and fallers. That's Andrew Binnington in the Cooper. Ex-Pete Revson car there, but don't see if he pushed or shoved.
Okay, let's have a look at the replay here, and it was very close in the background. Oh, that's a moment for Alex Brundle, dipping a couple of wheels on the exit of the corner, but continuing on.
In fact, the car that was going past, the blue one with the white stripes, was Andrew Binnington's car, which I think was limping to the side of the track, but just a little bit too much right foot there from Alex Brundle. Now, we haven't got a great deal of time, just over 1.5 minutes remaining in this lap, race, so we've got this lap and the next one to go, so we're almost at the end of the penultimate lap, but surely now with the lead of, well, it's only a second, Horatio Fitzsimon from Sam Wilson, but that's a huge, huge ask. Now Alex Brundle back on the track.
This is the battle for 4th, and are we going to see any chance of momentum coming through? We'll go through St Mary's, we make our way into Lavant Corner, and you can see the intensity. The eyes on stalls for Alex Brundle, the car off there. Who's made their way off?
I think it's Philip Buhofer. Is that number 4? No, there's Andrew Hibbert.
It's Hibbert. Oh, and so
that's all my fault
at the end.
That's all my fault. I gave him great praise. I said we should watch, but he just set the 3rd fastest lap of the race, dipping into the 1:23s. But the gap between 1st and 2nd over the start-finish line, .984. Good to see Hibbert is back on track, but he'll be very frustrated with that. But he's a driver, an individual who can see the funny side of life.
I think that Alex Brundle might have had a moment there at the end of the lap, because they were separated by hardly anything at all, and then we got a quick shot, and it was a much bigger gap. So might be Richards back on the podium there.
Right, here we are with 30 seconds to go, and the race leader Horatio Fitzsimon skirting with danger, dipping his left-hand wheels off the side of the circuit, trying to get the quickest line through the corner, but as they approach St Mary's, the gap still seems to be about a second. As hard as Sam Wilson tries, he can't make it work. Marco Werner still trying to pick up positions. Again, plenty of company. He'll have had a really enjoyable race. In behind him, car 76, Tim Childs. And Adrian Russell, who's gone very well in the darker blue car in the background. So they'll be just outside the top 10, but they would have had good fun.
Yeah, haven't we all? This has been really entertaining. Adrian Russell there just dipping a wheel, and the blue car in the background off the road as he did so. But we go back to our race leaders, and they have put on such a performance, the pair of them. It has been great defence from Fitzsimon. It has been look after look after look for Sam Wilson, but he hasn't ever been able to find his way by. He's had sights to the inside. He's had a bit of contact at this corner, but Horatio Fitzsimon has weathered the storm all the way round. Can he get the power down at the very end? They're going to be so close over the line, which is the ending that this race deserves. What a display from both of them. But it's Horatio Fitzsimon who takes the checkered flag in the Chichester Cup, and he beats his rival Sam Wilson across the line by 1/10 of a second.
Massive accolades to both of those, and for Sam Wilson for never say die attack, but also Horatio Fitzsimon, both setting supremely quick laps, but they're racing clean, fair. The one tiny bit of contact, but that's only because the tail came out down at Woodgood. In behind it, Clive Richards comes through in third place. We thought it was going to be Andrew Hibbard. He had that little tumble off the track, so Alex Brundle up to 4. Andrew Hibbard recovers to 5th. I think Nick Fennell's probably got up to 6th place, just ready for confirmation, but 0.178 of a second, the gap between first Richard Fitzsimon and second Sam Wilson. Superb, supreme Formula Junior racing, just as it was in period.
It was Woodhouse, then Buhofer, then Child, and Werner got picked on the line. Tonetti got him. Tonetti got him coming across the line to complete the top 10. Those two were separated by 0.2 of a second. Our first two separated by 0.1 of a second. Great.